What's up, guys? Sorry, this time hasn't worked for you as far as hopping on this Zoom call. I know everybody is crazy busy and there's stuff going on, and so I thought I would record a few of my thoughts, and then you can listen to this Zoom when you have time. So here we are. We're about halfway through the month, and I feel like everybody is really struggling to get their success points, and we're in Team Cup, and the whole goal is Team Cup is try and get as many Success Club points and rank advance as best you can. And everybody's set lofty goals and has gone out and started to do the work, and so far not a whole lot to show for it. I get it. I've been there. I know it's really, really frustrating to get in that position, and then fear starts setting in, and you kind of feel like I can keep going like this and nothing will ever happen. And so you kind of want to give up. And I want to tell you, don't give up. Don't get frustrated. It's part of the process. It happens to all of us. And so keep going. I'm going to give you a couple of tips that should help you. One of the things that we've done a lot of so far, we've done a paid group, we've done a free group, and then we're trying to lead from our free group back into another paid group. That's the way I'm working this month. And I had great success in my first challenge group, even though I only had one customer that actually purchased a challenge pack for that challenge group, but I had a couple hop in that were freebies, couple hop in that already had product. And then I combined with Jeff, and Jeff had one or two customers that bought a challenge pack from him. So we had a few new customers who did Shift Shop. They had great results, and we used the results as momentum to start our next group. Started broadcasting that in 21 days we had 6 guys that lost over 80 pounds, and then we talked individually about the opportunity to lose 10 to 15 pounds in 21 days. And almost everyone that I have talked to and invited to that opportunity likes the idea a lot of losing that much weight in 21 days. That piques, or that kind of sort of whets their appetite or gets their interest. It catches their attention. Converting them from that point is a whole nother thing, because I've had a lot of people say to me, yeah, that sounds great. And not very many of them have converted and actually bought a challenge pack and hopped into my group. So I have invited, I don't even know, I didn't keep the numbers, but 30 or 40 people over the past week. And I probably got 15 people that were interested at some level. And so today I'm going to go back and I'm going to do follow-ups again. My group's supposed to start on Monday, and I was going to do a Zoom party call, and I kind of gave you ideas about how I do that party call, or why I want to do that party call earlier when we talked on our Team Cup Zoom call. But I don't have anybody to show up for my party yet, right? And I keep in the back of my mind saying I need to get good at Facebook ads and capture people that way. I know in the long run that is a great way to add volume, but you have to get good at it. You have to fail at it a whole bunch of times before you get good at it. And you have to be willing to do the work and fail, and then go back and redo it until you find your audience and the right wording and the pain points that actually hits the people you're trying to talk to, in order to get them to be interested in going into some kind of a free group. It's really hard to take somebody from a Facebook ad just to buy something, because people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. They're just not going to buy from you. They don't know you, but they will hop into something free. And if you give them great content in a free group, and I really think our free group should be short, like 5 days. That's more my plan. And so I had talked about recreating my ab challenge, and then I revamped it with Molly's suggestion to make it more of a core challenge. Core of the mindset, core of nutrition, core of exercise. Give them 5 days of content in all 3 areas just to get them a base to get started, and then lead them from there into a paid group. So that's the idea. I haven't done it yet, but I have been revamping all the content because I spent a lot of time creating the content in the beginning, and now I'm going back through and changing it so it's more core oriented as the base of, or the foundation, the beginning, instead of like abs, where abs are like a finished product, right? Okay, so that said, that's what I'm doing. And today I'm doing tons of follow-up. I'm going back to people. I'm calling them up on the phone. I'm saying, hey, you said you wanted to do this. Let's do it. You were interested in losing 10 to 15 pounds in 21 days, or even 5 to 10 pounds in 21 days. I'll help you. We'll get there. Let's do it together. So that's what my plan is for today. But let me tell you just a few things about why I have been successful. I've got this sun getting right in my eyes here. Let me fix this here. Hang on. See if I can. It's not gonna go away, so I'm gonna deal with it here. Move over this way a little bit. All right. Let me give you just a little bit of my story so you'll understand why I have been able to build momentum in this business. Number one, first and foremost, I was able to change my life completely with the combination of P90X for 3 months with very little weight loss result, and then with another 3 month with Shakeology, having a huge weight loss experience, and then knowing without a doubt that Shakeology is an amazing product and a huge tool in order to lose weight. I was able to recognize that nutrition is by far the greater part of the whole process. And although I had intellectually figured that out in the past, I never really figured out how to eat right. And it seemed so complicated. And the best I could do was add an extra serving of vegetables, and that wasn't nearly enough. So it was crystal clear to me that these were great products, and they'd already changed my life because I was really struggling before I started P90X. And after that experience of 6 full months, my life was totally different. And so at that point, I started helping Jeff, and I started helping other people. People were coming to me saying, you look amazing. What did you do? And I had this momentum going. And so I became a coach to get paid and to use the tools to help other people. That was like the first thing, is like my transformation was like, for me, it was like a life-changing event. So number 2, I went to Coach Summit right after I became a coach and sat there and was inspired. I listened to Carl Deichler, and the integrity and the passion that just flowed from him, I connected with that. Going to live events is huge. If you haven't been to live events, you got to go. And even if, Summit, haven't been to a Summit yet, and Summit is next year, you've got Super Saturdays that are all across the nation. You've got to find a way to get to Super Saturday. You've got to get to these events because you start connect with the mission of the company, with the tools and how to share the tools, and with the passion. And you can connect on a totally different level, and it starts to become emotional. When it becomes emotional, it drives us. The next thing I did is I started listening to YouTube calls and various, whatever way I could get, from the great coaches from the business. And some of them that really affected me were like Tommy Migrant and Josh Spencer, and people who, like Tommy Migrant was a football coach, and I connect with that. I really sort of understand him as a person. But here's a guy who was alcoholic, gambling addict, way overweight, sitting around on the couch doing nothing with his life. And he completely changed and became really polished. And as he shares his story, he is so polished in the way that he talks to people that it captured me. And I wanted to be like that. I wanted to learn how to capture a huge audience and connect with a lot of people with my message. And so that sort of drove me to try and be better. I wanted to be like those people. The next thing that was really significant for me, and this is an advantage that I had that most people will never, ever, ever get, and that is that Brandy Botts invited me to go to the leadership retreat where it was 2-star and above, went to leadership at that point. Right now it's 5-star and above, but there weren't that many 2-star and above at that point in this business. So these are the top leaders in the company. And then Amanda Arnwine, who is Brandy Botts' upline, took me around everybody she could find, all the rock stars in the business, and introduced me to them and said, this guy turned diamond in 5 weeks, and he's built a nutrition plan at his work, and this guy's amazing. He's going to be something. But what was more significant than that was just her courage. She had no fear. She could go up to anybody. And it wasn't that she didn't respect these people. I'm sure she respected them because she's taking me to them and introducing me to them. But it's like I watch a lot of these people from a distance and sort of put them up on a pedestal and idolize them. And then when I go up to them, I'm like, hi, I'm Tom Wolf. And, I want to be like you when I grow up. And they're like, awkward, but it's like that ability to just be bold and just to talk to people is one of the biggest takeaways from that leadership event, but also the mentoring and the trainings that we got. We listened to Darren Hardy speak to us in a small group, and I get to sit at the table with the people who were rock star coaches in the business who were in the fitness programs that I was now doing, the P90X, P90X2 people, Wayne Wyatt, and Robert Hutchins, and Josh Spencer, and just other people who had been in these programs. And I'm like idolizing them, and like I got to hang out with them. Well, I got to go to 2 of those leadership events, and they were like, for me to be able to see what is possible in this business, and then to watch my direct upline, Brandy, take her business all the way from where she and I and about 3 or 4 other leaders in her group created her team and helped her to name it and helped her with design, logo ideas, and then to make that team Facebook group page, and just from the beginning start to work with the new coaches in her team and downline, and then just watch it explode into something that's just monstrous. It changed my belief system to where I saw what was possible. I saw a vision falling out just right in front of me of becoming something of significance. And I really, really wanted that. And so, those are the things that really drove me to start. Now, it's interesting that this is a business that has so small of a startup cost. Basically, it's nothing. If you buy yourself a challenge pack, you get to be a coach for free. And the only reason why they do that in this business is so that you have an opportunity to be successful yourself in your own fitness journey by having the tools and using the tools for yourself. That's it. That's it. And so it's good and it's bad. It should be easier to get coaches because it doesn't cost anything. There's no inventory. There's a lot of companies that are home-based companies that you have to have you have to buy a whole bunch of crap and then try and sell it. You don't have to do that. And so the startup is easy, which is good and bad. People have very little skin in the game when they start this business. They just don't. You invest in yourself. $140 for the least expensive challenge pack to get started. And it gives you one meal a day in addition to that. And so, it's dirt cheap. That's the truth. And the problem with that is, unless you have a passion to become something great already, or inspired by some of the leaders that you see in the business, or with the idea of building a large business at home and be able to stay with your kids and take care of them instead of having to go to daycare and deal with the problems there or whatever, pay for sitters or whatever. I mean, so there are, real reasons to build this business, but until you really create this passion for it and put some kind of skin in the game, it's hard to lay it all out there. It's hard to do the things that we do every day. And the truth is, there's a lot of things in this business that are uncomfortable. And getting out of your comfort zone is where all the good stuff happens. That's the truth. And that's not necessarily fun. You don't even really like it. And so you're doing these things that you don't like to do, reaching out to people, feeling on the inside insecure about it, feeling like you're a salesperson trying to sell everybody stuff instead of inspiring people to change their lives and to improve their lives and to offer tools that genuinely help people. We start to feel all these things that are uncomfortable and not fun, and that's how we spend a lot of our time. The truth is, I don't think you have to love that. There has to be something about what you do that you love. Like, I love seeing somebody's life change. I love being a part of it by introducing tools to people's lives that they use and change from it. I love the idea of being able to do that on a large scale. I love the idea of teaching somebody to do what I do as a coach and watching them be successful at it. Those things are awesome for me. But that's like 10%, I mean, we do a lot of things that we don't really like to do. What I'm saying is this: you don't have to love it. You have to love the end result, and there has to be something, 10%. Love that. We're going to do a lot of things that are uncomfortable in the meantime. But the point is that you have to get good at it. You have to be good at your job. And it takes time to get good at it. I shared with you on a team call before the idea of sanding and painting. The idea that the only way to get a board super, super smooth with a silky coat of paint on it is to sand it and paint it and sand it and paint it and sand it and paint it until you get that super soft, super silky, super smooth look. It's the only way. It doesn't get that way any other way. That means that we invest a lot of time trying to get good at what we do. And in the process, we're going to do a lot of things wrong, and you're going to try and figure out from what we do wrong how to improve it and how to get better at it. But the only way to get great at what we do is to do it a lot. That's how we get it. And, it could realistically 5 to 7 years to get great at it. But to build a business that becomes a monster business in 5 to 7 years, what's wrong with that? So it takes time. But that's why we stick with it and we just keep going. Right? So let me just walk you through. I've been reading. Oh, let me go backwards for a second. When I talked about putting skin in the game, what I meant was that you have to find ways to invest in yourself. Whether the investment is just buying books and reading the books, or whether it's paying for a mentor of some type, whether it's Josh Coates trainings or whatever it is, I guarantee you that you will work harder, work smarter, and get better at what you do when you have to, when you have skin in the game, when you have money down on the table, and you're saying to yourself, here it is, I have now invested, and I'm not going to lose my investment. I'm going to get it. So this last week, I made a huge decision, and I had been following Brendon Burchard since Summit, and actually quite a bit before that. I signed up for a $150, I think it was, training that Tony Horton had advertised on Facebook. And so I started doing his online training, and I found out halfway through that he was linked to Brendon Burchard in this training, and it was actually Brendon Burchard's growth group that helped Tony Horton to build that system. So I had some contact with Brendon Burchard's growth team through that process, and they had invited me to take a look at their high performance mentorship group. And I looked at it, and at the time I was like, yeah, it's interesting, but I don't know, you know. And so I waited, and I listened to Brendon Burchard at Summit, and I still I don't have a huge connection to his message, although I like him. I think he's real. I think he's someone who started just like you and me, who has developed himself into somebody that mentors some of the biggest names in the world. And so, you know, that I connected with. And anyway, I did more research. I followed him. I listened to his daily messages. And I decided to join his high performance team. Guys, it's a $6,000 investment. But here's the thing. My business has been stuck and slightly declined over the last few years, and I need to take it to the next level. I have to. I am at a point where I don't have any choice. I have to grow, and I have to find ways to make this work. It's not a want to. It's not a wish list anymore. It's not a, it would be cool if. It's now, I need to make this happen. And so I invested in it. My first one-on-one mentorship is tomorrow. It's not with Brendon himself, but I do get a message from Brendon after each of the one-on-one calls. It's with someone that he personally trained. And so, you know, I'll keep you posted of how I like it, don't like it, whatever. I'm not so sure it's for everyone, especially in the beginning. I'm not suggesting that you spend $6,000. But what I am suggesting is that if you want this to happen in your life, then you need to find ways to invest, even if you're just investing time in spending more time and more effort listening to YouTubes from the top coaches. They have tons of content. But one of the things that struck me is a couple of weeks ago, I was listening to the Hey Bro YouTube show from David Adkins and Scotty Hobbs. They've been doing this for, I think, 13 or 14 weeks now. And each Saturday they have a topic and they talk about it together, 15 minutes each. So it's about a half hour long. And they said, hey, look, here's the thing. We can give you this mentorship. It's free and it's fine, but you don't get the opportunity to do one-on-ones with us. We're too busy, for one. We cannot do that, possibly. But we're also going to spend our time with our team because that's how we grow our business instead of with just anybody that likes us that wants one-on-one mentorship. That's not possible. But they were talking about that they get the opportunity to go to leadership events together and they learn from each other. They have accountability partners and they work together that way to inspire each other and to grow. But they said each one of them had to go find mentors and invest their time, money, whatever resources into mentorships with guys like Brendon Burchard in order to get to the level of business where they are. And once you get there, then you earn a right to be able to connect one-on-one with other leaders of that quality level. So that was one of my driving points where I just decided I was going to go for it, and we're going to make this happen. I'm going to get to the next level. And so anyway, that is what I've done. And this call's probably been long enough. I have been listening to a book that's in the library that I get access to from the Brendon Burchard group because I paid so much money. I get a few perks. One of them is I get to go to their event in October in Arizona. I get 2 tickets for free, and I'm buying 2 more tickets at a discounted price so that Jeff and Kirsty can go. But I took some notes from a book called, or I don't know if it's a book or if it's just a series of talks that he gave. It's called Success is Your Own Damn Fault. And the author is Larry Winget. And he's real and he's raw and he tells it like it is. And so I wanted to share a couple of the notes. One of them I already shared with you, and that is the idea that you don't have to love what you do all the time. You probably have to love about 10% of it. He said he speaks. His job now is speaking to big audiences, to big companies, to, at seminars or conventions or whatever. And he said he spends about 100 hours a year on stage talking to people, and he loves it. But he also travels about 250 days a year in order to go to those events, and he hates it. He gets tired of traveling on the planes and sleeping in hotels and doing all the things that you have to do that are uncomfortable when you're traveling. And he says, I don't love that. There's no part of that I love. I love the speaking. And so a couple of concepts from that. He says, number one, he says, as far as priorities go, figure out what the one thing is that's the most important thing that you could do every day. And do that one thing no matter what. And then the other thing that he talks about is passion. He said, being passionate doesn't get you anywhere. He said, it's a myth that being passionate is the way to succeed. Because a lot of people say, man, if you love what you do and you're passionate about it and enthusiastic about it, you've got it made. And he says, that's not true. He says, the problem is that if you're no good at what you do, it doesn't matter how passionate you are at it. How many passionate doctors are there out there that have no training at doing an operation? You want them operating on you? They don't know what they're doing. It doesn't matter if they're passionate about it. That passion and enthusiasm will get them nowhere when it's time to do the work. So the concept is get good at what you do. Now, I have to add to it, and he's talked about it a little bit, but the real deal is if you're good at what you do and you're enthusiastic and passionate about it, you become pretty much unstoppable. But you have to get good at what you do. And like I said, with the sanding and painting thing, it takes time. Well, look, I want to end this because it's probably been long enough, and I'm sure you have plenty of other things to do in a day. But halfway through the month, we're doing Team Cup. We want to learn. We want to grow. We're not seeing a whole lot of success. And so it's not time to quit. It's not time to get frustrated. It's not time to give up. It's not time to let fear creep into your mind and change your mindset. It's time to go back and follow up and do the thing every day that's the most important thing that you could do and get great at it. That's what we're here for. And whatever happens in the process happens. But get great at what you do and things will happen. All right, guys, that's it. Have a great day, and we will talk to you later. If you want to talk more, just comment into our message thread, and we'll go from there. I will put this recording in there, and have a great day, guys.